I've been putting in so much hard work for days, and you still haven't liked or subscribed. Go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe.
The Demon House of Indiana. In the city of Gary, Indiana, there once stood a small house that became the center of one of America's most disturbing paranormal cases. Even today, years after the building was demolished, people still talk about what allegedly happened inside. Some call it a haunting, others call it a case of mass hysteria. But according to police officers, social workers, doctors, and the family who lived there, something was very wrong with that house. The story began in November 2011 when a woman named Latoya Ammons moved into a rental home with her mother and 3 children. At first, everything seemed normal. The neighborhood was quiet. The house looked ordinary. Nothing about it suggested that anything unusual was waiting inside. But within days of moving in, strange events started happening. Late at night, the family would hear heavy footsteps walking through the house. Doors would slowly open on their own. They heard unexplained knocking sounds coming from empty rooms, and dark shadows seemed to move through hallways before disappearing. At first, the family tried to ignore it. They assumed the house was old. Maybe the noises had a logical explanation, but things only became worse. One evening, Latoya claimed she saw a tall black figure standing inside her bedroom. The figure had glowing eyes. For several seconds, it simply stared at her. Then it vanished. Soon after, another strange problem appeared. Despite freezing temperatures outside, hundreds of black flies began appearing inside the home. The family cleaned constantly. Exterminators were called, but nobody could explain where the insects were coming from. Then the children started reporting terrifying experiences. They claimed invisible hands would pull them while they slept. One child said he often saw shadow figures standing in corners of the room. Another claimed he heard voices whispering his name at night. As the weeks passed, the family became convinced that whatever was happening inside the house was getting stronger. Eventually, police officers and social workers became involved. Several officials later reported experiencing unusual events themselves while visiting the property. One officer claimed his flashlight repeatedly stopped working whenever he entered certain rooms. Another reported hearing footsteps upstairs while everyone in the house was gathered downstairs. The case soon attracted attention from paranormal investigators across the country. Many visited hoping to find an explanation. Some recorded strange sounds. Others reported sudden temperature drops and equipment malfunctions. One investigator later claimed that after visiting the home, he began suffering from nightmares and unexplained health problems. The story became national news, television crews arrived, documentaries were filmed, and the house became known throughout America as the Demon House. Eventually, the family moved out. They never returned. Years later, in 2016, the house was demolished. The building was completely destroyed. Today, only an empty lot remains. But according to locals, the stories never stopped. Some claim they still feel uneasy when passing the property after dark. Others report hearing strange sounds coming from the area late at night. Whether the events were paranormal, psychological, or something else entirely remains a mystery. But one thing is certain. The Demon House of Indiana remains one of the most famous haunted locations in American history. And for many people, the real question isn't whether the house was haunted. It's whether whatever was inside ever truly left. 2. The Myrtles Plantation. Deep in Louisiana stands one of America's most famous haunted places. It's called the Myrtles Plantation. Built in the late 1700s, the mansion has been surrounded by ghost stories for generations. Visitors often report hearing footsteps in empty hallways. Others claim they hear children laughing late at night even when no children are present. But the most famous legend involves a woman known as Chloe. According to local stories, Chloe once worked on the plantation and died under mysterious circumstances. Many guests claim they've seen her ghost wandering the property. Several photographs taken at the plantation appear to show a woman wearing a green head covering standing in the background. One guest reported waking up in the middle of the night and seeing a woman standing beside the bed. When they turned on the light, she was gone. Employees also tell stories about mirrors showing reflections of people who aren't actually in the room. Some visitors have even refused to stay overnight after experiencing strange sounds and unexplained movements. Today, thousands of tourists visit the Myrtles Plantation every year. Many arrive hoping to see proof of the paranormal, and some leave believing they did. Whether the stories are true or not, the Myrtles Plantation remains one of the most haunted locations in America. 3. The Bell Witch Cave. Near the small town of Adams, Tennessee, there is a cave connected to one of America's oldest and most famous hauntings. Locals call it the Bell Witch Cave. The legend dates back to the early 1800s when the Bell family claimed they were being terrorized by an invisible entity. According to reports, family members heard strange knocking sounds on walls, unexplained whispers, and voices coming from empty rooms. The spirit eventually became known as the Bell Witch. Over the years, visitors to the cave have reported hearing footsteps deep underground when nobody else was there. Some claim they've heard voices calling their names from inside the darkness. Others report sudden cold spots and feelings of being watched. One tourist allegedly entered the cave alone and later ran out terrified, claiming something had whispered directly into his ear. Today, the Bell Witch Cave attracts paranormal investigators from across America. Many come hoping to experience something supernatural, and while skeptics remain unconvinced, the legend of the Bell Witch continues to haunt Tennessee more than 200 years later. 4. The Winchester Mystery House. In San Jose, California, there stands a massive mansion known as the Winchester Mystery House. What makes it famous isn't just its size, it's the strange way it was built. The owner, Sarah Winchester, continuously added rooms, staircases, and hallways to the house for nearly 40 years. Some staircases lead directly into ceilings, some doors open to solid walls, others open to a dangerous drop. According to legend, Sarah believed she was being haunted by spirits and built the confusing mansion to keep them trapped. Today, visitors and employees report hearing unexplained footsteps late at night. Some claim they've seen shadow figures moving through empty rooms. Others report doors opening and closing on their own. One security guard allegedly saw a man dressed in old-fashioned clothing walking down a hallway before suddenly disappearing. Paranormal investigators have spent years studying the mansion. Many claim to have recorded strange voices and unexplained sounds. Whether the stories are true or not, the Winchester Mystery House remains one of the most famous haunted places in America, and many visitors leave wondering if they're really alone inside its endless hallways.
5. The Stanley Hotel high in the mountains of Colorado sits a historic hotel known as the Stanley Hotel. At first glance, it looks beautiful and peaceful, but many people believe it's one of the most haunted hotels in America. Built in 1909, the hotel has been the source of ghost stories for decades. Guests frequently report hearing footsteps in empty hallways late at night. Others claim they hear children laughing and running through the corridors when nobody is there. One of the most haunted locations is room 217. Visitors staying in the room have reported lights turning on by themselves and objects moving unexpectedly. Some guests even claim they've been awakened by the feeling that someone was standing beside their bed. Hotel staff have also reported strange experiences. Several employees say they've seen shadowy figures walking through empty rooms before disappearing. Others claim they've heard piano music coming from the ballroom when nobody was inside. Paranormal investigators have visited the hotel for years. Many say they've captured unexplained voices and mysterious sounds on recording equipment. Today, thousands of visitors stay at the Stanley Hotel hoping to experience something paranormal. Some leave with incredible stories. Others leave convinced the hotel is truly haunted, whether you believe in ghosts or not. The Stanley Hotel remains one of America's most famous haunted places.